The more kind you are without boundaries, the easier you are to control. Not because kindness is weak, but because uncontrolled kindness sends a message most people never realize they are sending. It says, I will tolerate more than I should. I will forgive faster than I should. I will stay longer than I should. And manipulators recognize this immediately, not because they are smarter than you, but because they are watching for hesitation. They are watching for the moment you choose peace over self-respect, the moment you choose silence over truth, the moment you choose endurance over dignity. Stoicism teaches a hard truth most people spend their entire lives avoiding. Kindness without strength invites exploitation. Not always immediately, not always obviously, but inevitably. Kind people rarely expect betrayal, because they do not think like those who betray. They assume others have the same intentions. They assume others respect fairness. They assume others value loyalty. So they give. They give their time. They give their patience. They give their understanding. They give their forgiveness. Even when they receive less, even when the balance is broken, even when something inside them whispers, this isn't right. But they ignore that whisper because they don't want to become cold. They don't want to become cruel. They don't want to become someone who stops caring. So they continue giving, hoping the other person will eventually reciprocate, hoping fairness will eventually appear, hoping kindness will eventually be returned. But hope is not a boundary. Hope is not protection. Hope does not stop exploitation. The problem is not kindness itself. Kindness is strength. Kindness is virtue. Kindness is power. The problem is kindness without limits, because kindness without limits becomes permission. Permission for others to take without giving. Permission for others to cross lines without consequence. Permission for others to slowly erode your self-respect. Not in one dramatic moment, but in small, almost invisible steps. Step by step, moment by moment, boundary by boundary. Until one day you no longer recognize yourself. You are still kind, but you are no longer free. This happens because kind people fear hurting others. Their empathy is strong. They feel the emotions of others deeply. They sense discomfort immediately. And they want to remove it, even if it means absorbing it themselves, even if it means carrying emotional weight that was never theirs. They tolerate disrespect to avoid causing conflict. They accept unfairness to avoid hurting feelings. They remain silent to avoid creating tension. Not because they are weak, but because they care. But here is the danger. Every time you tolerate what violates your dignity, you teach the other person something. You teach them what they can get away with. You teach them how far they can go. You teach them how little resistance they will face. Silence is not neutral. Silence is instruction. Manipulators rarely begin with obvious cruelty. They begin with small tests, small boundary violations, small moments of disrespect. They watch carefully. They observe your reaction. Do you resist? Do you object? Do you walk away? Or do you stay silent? Do you forgive immediately? Do you pretend it didn't happen? If you do, they learn something powerful. They learn they can control you, not through force, but through your own kindness. They do not need to threaten you. They only need to rely on your empathy, your patience, your reluctance to confront. And slowly, your kindness becomes the tool they use against you. Not because kindness is wrong, but because kindness without strength is unprotected. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Your kindness must remain your choice, not someone else's weapon." The moment kindness stops being a choice and becomes an obligation enforced by guilt, it is no longer kindness, it is submission. Epictetus taught something even more direct. If you want to be respected, respect yourself first. Self-respect is invisible, but its presence is unmistakable. When you respect yourself, your kindness is calm, balanced, free. When you do not respect yourself, your kindness becomes anxious, desperate, fearful of rejection. Self-respect creates boundaries naturally, without anger, without cruelty, without explanation. Seneca warned about tolerance without limits. He who tolerates injustice invites more of it. This is not cruelty, this is reality. Because human behavior follows patterns. Behavior that is rewarded continues. Behavior that is tolerated continues. Behavior that faces no resistance continues. Kindness without boundaries rewards exploitation, not intentionally, but inevitably. Stoics understood that virtue is not softness alone. Virtue includes firmness. Virtue includes clarity. Virtue includes strength. A tree that bends endlessly will eventually break. A tree that is both flexible and rooted survives. There is a myth that enduring pain proves strength. It does not. Enduring unnecessary pain proves conditioning, not strength. Strength is the ability to walk away. Strength is the ability to say no. Strength is the ability to remain calm while refusing disrespect. Not loudly, not dramatically, but clearly. Many people believe, if I am kind enough, they will not hurt me. This belief is comforting, but false. Kindness does not control others' character. Kindness does not prevent manipulation. Kindness reveals character, both yours and theirs. A person with integrity respects kindness. A person without integrity exploits it. This is why Stoicism does not teach you to stop being kind. It teaches you to stop being controllable. Because controllability is the true vulnerability, not kindness. When your kindness is rooted in strength, it becomes untouchable. You give freely, but you are not dependent on acceptance. You care, but you do not abandon yourself. You remain open, but not exposed. A Stoic does not become cold. A Stoic becomes clear. Clear about what they allow, clear about what they tolerate, clear about what they deserve. They do not argue endlessly. They do not beg for respect. They do not explain their worth. They demonstrate it through their presence, through their boundaries, through their calm refusal to accept less than dignity. True kindness is not fragile. True kindness is disciplined. True kindness is protected. Because unprotected kindness cannot survive in a world where not everyone has good intentions. Protected kindness can. You do not need to stop caring. You do not need to stop loving. You do not need to stop helping. You need to stop abandoning yourself in the process. There is a quiet power in someone who is kind but not controllable. They do not react emotionally to pressure. They do not fold under guilt.
They do not sacrifice their peace to maintain approval. Their kindness is not a weakness others can use. It is a strength others must respect. And when someone crosses their boundary, they do not explode. They do not beg. They do not argue endlessly. They step back, calmly, silently, completely. This silence is not punishment. It is clarity. It communicates something words never could. My kindness is not permission. Stoics understood that inner authority must never be surrendered, not for approval, not for acceptance, not for temporary peace. Because peace built on self-betrayal is not peace, it is quiet suffering. Be kind, but never be controllable. Be compassionate, but never be submissive. Be generous, but never abandon yourself. Because true kindness is not weakness, it is strength under control, strength guided by wisdom, strength protected by boundaries. And Stoics never surrender their inner authority, not to guilt, not to pressure, not to fear. They remain kind, and they remain free.